Hello and welcome to Spartan Football Weekly. I'm Justin Allegri. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Looks like you got some good-looking potatoes there. Well, tonight on the show, San Jose State insider Jimmy Durkin will join us, along with San Jose State head coach Ron Carragher. And while you pass that gravy around, we'll take a look at some highlights from the triple overtime game. Here we go with the highlights. 25-yard pass to Chandler Jones that set up an Austin Lopez 41-yard field goal and made it 3-0. Spartans stopped Navy, then a 17-yard pass here to Thomas Tucker. Worked once, so why not try it again? And it's a 25-yard score, 9-0 after a missed PAT for San Jose State. Here's a flea flicker play to Tyler Winston. That was a nice trick play for San Jose State, right up the middle for Tyler Winston. And the Spartans would follow that with a 30-yard connection to Tim Crawley. Then Jared Lawson finishes off, getting into the end zone. Made it 16-7 San Jose State. Spartans were down 24-22 when Fales broke the all-time passing touchdown record at San Jose State with this pass to Chandler Jones, who in the game broke the record for career receptions all-time at San Jose State. Spartans take the lead back on this catch to Tyler Winston. Fales ran it in for a 2-point conversion. Then Navy came back to take a 38-30 lead with 2:38 to go. Zeros on the clock, Fales to none, and for the TD. And the Spartans had a chance to Jones then for the 2-point conversion, and we go to overtime. And in overtime, Fales flushed out of the pocket, rolls to his right, and hits none for the go-ahead score in the game. But Navy's offense was too much, especially Keenan Reynolds, who had 7 touchdowns on the night. And the midshipmen get the victory. Here's San Jose State head coach Ron Carragher after the game.
A hard-fought, great effort, never quit, never give up, and I'm proud of them. We didn't end up winning the game and getting the desired end results, and so that's frustrating. That hurts deeply because of the effort that was made. However, I'm proud of these guys, and they competed and made plays when I felt like we needed to, big plays, big opportune times, and we dipped a little, I think, half-time. We missed the field goal. We just came up short in the third quarter. Came out not playing. We were a little not playing as good as I anticipated. But you know what? We came roaring back and never quit, never gave up, and then offense really answered the call at the end of regulation when we got the ball and had 2.5 minutes left and had to drive the distance and get the 2-point to tie it up. So proud of the guys. Again, it's a tough game. We've got to peel ourselves up off the ground, the heartbreak that it was, and bounce back because we got another regular season game left to play.
We'll take our first break here on the show. When we come back, Jimmy Durkin, the San Jose State beat writer, will join us in studio. More on Spartan Football Weekly when we return.
It takes intense preparation, finesse, and precision to be crowned as the king in a unanimous decision. It bobs and it weaves around every corner. With its hit list of features, this car is a performer. So roll on to victory with the path of least resistance. The new 2014 Scion TC is made to go the distance.
Una más. Come on, baby. Una más.
Una más.
Una más. We taste better for lunch or dinner.
Welcome back in Spartan Football Weekly, now joined by our special guest, Jimmy Durkin, the writer for San Jose State football. And Jimmy, we've had you a couple times on the show this year, and San Jose State gets the win at UNLV. They come home. You figure they have 3 chances, really legitimately, to get that 6th win in the bowl eligibility. Unfortunately, haven't been able to do it. What has been going on these past 3 games?
I think you looked at that San Diego State game, and there was such a good opportunity there. You had a 11-point lead in the 4th quarter. You're going to kick a field goal to make it a 2-touchdown lead, and the season just changed right there. I mean, they not only get the block, the big return, sets up a touchdown, and all of a sudden, this is a game here. The offense goes 3 and out. There's another touchdown, and I think a lot of the Nevada game was just a carryover from that. As they got stunned at home, and they just didn't show up at Nevada. Against Navy, they showed up at least on one half of the ball. The defense obviously had a tough time stopping the quarterback, and it hasn't gone well for them. And and now the backs are really against the wall. I mean, obviously the odds are against them. Everyone's counting them out. this is, I guess, where you find out a lot about the team.
Well, it seemed like the defense was kind of pulling it back together after the 3-game span. You play Minnesota, you play Stanford, play Utah State, but it seemed like they were pulling it back together, but then they've kind of fallen off again these last 3 games, and the special teams as well have not been playing as good.
Yeah, and the first half against San Diego State, they played pretty well. And it's funny that it seems like once that kick was blocked, the defense couldn't make a stop, and everything seemed to just fall after that. And then the last 2 games, the defense has obviously regressed, and that's a problem because at this point in the season, there's a lot of young guys. We know there's a lot of young guys on that defense, and it might take them some time to develop. But we're 11 games into the season. This is the point where you want to see them improving, and I think that's probably the main concern right now is that you're not really seeing that growth.
Well, I mean, where do you see them at this point? I mean, coming off these losses, how do you try and bounce back? What does the coaching staff do?
Well, they have been trying to kind of lighten the mood at practice. It started last week with a field goal kicking contest between the linemen.
One of the best.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, you had to get out of the way of some of those kicks, and they passed out ice cream afterwards, and they've pretty much every day in practice since then they've finished with some little contest. Greg Lewis coming out of nowhere to nail the target on the goalpost, and so they are trying to lighten the mood and keep things fresh. And I think that's what you have to do because if you just focus on what you guys are doing on the field right now, and especially if you focus on this week's opponent and think about what you're up against, you can kind of stress out a little bit too much. And so they're trying to keep it light, and that's what you have to do at this point because they need to keep it loose, and if they're going to have a chance to win.
I want to talk about Fresno State a little bit later on here, but first we look at David Fales and Chandler Jones. They broke 2 milestone records with the passing yardage, receiving yardage, receptions overall, and touchdown receptions or passes for David Fales. These 2 guys are in the tops, in the elite of San Jose State quarterback and wide receivers. How special is it to have both those guys on the same team?
Yeah, and I mean, and you could toss in Noel Grigsby, who he still has, even without playing much this year, still has the receiving yards record ahead of Chandler. And I kind of talked to Chandler on Monday about this, and he was saying that it's a little bit bittersweet to kind of take that record away from Noel. He was kind of hanging out at the house one day, the other day over the weekend, and somebody's like, "Oh, you broke the record this week," and he kind of looks at Noel like, "Yeah, I guess I did." Exactly. But yeah, I mean, if you imagine if they had Noel out there, you're talking about really the 2 best receivers ever, the only 2 that have caught over 200 passes, and Chandler will probably go over 3,000 yards joining Grigsby this week, and then Fales. I mean, in 2 years to break every significant record that this school has, his tenure here has been great, and that's why it would be so important to try to get a win this week and let him finish off his career in a bowl game. All
right, we'll take a quick break with Jimmy Durkin. More on the program when we return.
The Learfield Sports Directors Cup is the officially sanctioned annual award recognizing all-around excellence in men's and women's collegiate competition. NACDA and USA Today co-founded this esteemed honor in 1993, still widely recognized as the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Uno más.
Let's go, uno más.
Uno más.
Uno más. We taste better for lunch or dinner.
Sergio Romo, pitcher and 2-time World Series champion, a Bay Area legend. E40, platinum recording artist and actor, a Bay Area legend. Kinder's Barbecue, 3 generations of hard work and family pride. Award-winning barbecue, sauces, and meats. Kinder's Barbecue, a Bay Area legend.
Welcome back on Spartan Football Weekly. Still joined by Jimmy Durkin, our special guest, and the Spartans insider and beat writer. And Jimmy, we just talked about 2 of the big seniors for this team, but coming into this week, Fresno State, it's senior day, and there's 22 seniors. Is this one of the best senior classes San Jose State has ever seen? Because we have Chandler Jones, David Fales we just mentioned, but you throw in Keith Smith, Bené Benwickery, and a host of others, Kyle Nunn in there, even though he may not have the greatest in numbers, but still a great wide receiver for San Jose State. Is this one of the great senior classes that we have at San Jose State?
Well, it has to be up there. I mean, the all-time leading passer, the 2 all-time leading receivers, Bené, if he can get one more interception, he can be interception record holder all on his own. Keith Smith, second all-time in tackles. I mean, it's
Harrison Wade.
Harrison Wade, yeah, is probably going to be the all-time leader in punting average. I mean, yeah, it's been a good class, and you look at especially some of these guys, some of the guys that are in their fourth year that played right away as a freshman. They were brought in by Mike McIntyre in that scramble class. He gets hired in December, and a guy like Keith Smith, he had no interest in San Jose State up until then, and he's come and been one of the greatest linebackers ever here. Signed with them, committed to them a couple weeks before signing day, and so it's been a great class, and it really goes to show what McIntyre did when he was first hired here, because obviously Travis Ricidi, Vince Buhager, or other guys that were part of that class he brought in, ended up redshirting at one point or another. But yeah, I mean that class that they brought in 4 years ago. Really impressive.
Yeah, well, then you go on to this weekend, and Friday night or Friday afternoon, big game for San Jose State. One of the best offenses in the nation coming into town. Rivalry game. There's a lot of things going into this game that I don't think the players need to get hyped up for. I think they're pretty hyped.
Yeah, I mean the subplots here are plentiful. I mean you have a chance to spoil Fresno State's BCS hopes, all that kind of stuff. You've got the Valley Cup coming into play. But really you can just toss all that out, because you look at it for San Jose State, it's the most important game of the year, because if they lose, their season's done. If they win, the chances of going to a bowl game are at least decent. And so there's a lot of subplots, seniors playing their last time in the stadium, but there's no time really to get caught up in any of that, because a win is what they need, and what they need to kind of seal their legacy as this group that can go to back-to-back bowl games. And that was an expectation we had coming into this year, and they still have a chance to make that a part of their legacy.
Now, if they go on to win this game, they go 6-6. And with this senior class, is that still somewhat of a disappointment for this season, just a 500 record?
I think so. I mean, I think, 7 wins would have been kind of the minimal goal. You would have thought, 8-4 would have been nice. And anything above that, probably a little bit of a cherry on top. But, I mean, a 6-6 season would, at this point, I can't call it a disappointment, because it would be ending the year beating Fresno, which is always the goal, and most likely in a bowl game. So at this point, it's not a huge disappointment, but obviously 5-7 would be.
So what do they have to do against Fresno State to be on top?
Well, I mean, I think they have to force turnovers, and luckily for them, you're going up against a Fresno team. Derek Carr hasn't thrown an interception, I think, over 260 passes, so he's not a guy who's going to give the ball away. But San Jose State has a better chance of forcing turnovers against a team that's going to throw as much as they do when you have a guy like Bené Benwickery, who, Colby Cameron of Louisiana Tech last year had gone almost the whole season without an interception. Bené picked him off 3 times. Yeah. So, you kind of like the odds of Bené maybe being able to force a big play. And I think the chances of the defense being able to make game-changing plays against a passing team are better. And if they can make a few game-changing plays, maybe get a pick six, at least a couple turnovers, get the ball in their offense's hands more. Fresno State doesn't have a great defense. I think David Fales and company can put up a lot of points.
That's the thing. What's the matchup like with Fales? Because I know their secondary's kind of on the weaker side. They've given up a lot of points to some teams that don't even have winning records.
Yeah, I mean, their defense is going to give up yards. They're going to give up points. They gave up 28 to New Mexico last week. They gave up, 37 to Hawaii. And so, there will be opportunities for this offense to score. Obviously, for Fresno State, there will be opportunities for them to score. We saw a 58 to 52 game last week. I wouldn't be surprised if the cumulative score is over 100 again this week.
Where do you see Jared Lawson fitting into this? Because in that win streak, he was really going off. And then it seemed like we went to the San Diego State game. They figured something out to stop him. And ever since then, he's had a struggle getting yardage. So how much is it a factor for him to get going in this game?
I think somewhat. I think you do have to have that balance. He got 26 carries, 98 yards last week, which is, pretty good production. You like a little bit maybe higher yards per carry. I think they do want to get him going a little bit. But obviously, Fresno is going to be scoring so quickly that you may kind of want him. It could be either way. You might want to try to match him with a high-octane passing, but you also might want to kind of grind it out on the ground a little bit and keep the ball out of their offense's hands. I think they'll try to work a balance, but as we've seen pretty often lately, if Fales gets going, especially like he did against Navy, you're going to keep it in his hands.
Finally, I'll ask you, as Spartans do get a win, what's the bowl outlook like? Because there are going to be 7 teams at that point with eligibility, and there's always just 6 spots. And when you consider if the Spartans do beat Fresno State, they're out of the BCS opportunity. what's the outlook for San Jose State at that point?
Well, and it's still really undetermined how many bowl-eligible teams there will be. Colorado State still needs a win against Air Force, which seems like a gimme, but Capri Bibbs, their star running back, will not play this week. Yeah. And so they're without their star running back coming off of getting shut out at Utah State. So they may not win. They may not get eligible. Wyoming, they could still get eligible also if they can beat Utah State. So we're still in a position. There could be anywhere between 5 and 8 Mountain West teams that get eligible. And a big factor is UNLV. If they beat San Diego State and get 7 wins, that puts them a notch ahead of San Jose State in terms of getting a bowl bid. My feeling still is, though, if San Jose State wins, I think they'll find a way to get in somewhere. A lot of that is based on having an entertaining team with David Fales.
Very marketable.
They put on a good show on national TV, even in a loss to Navy. If they beat an undefeated, nationally ranked Fresno State team, that'll be in their favor. And then you look at Gene Blameyer, the AD. He's got some Boise ties, 30 years in Boise.
I think name on the building up there.
I think he can call it a favor to the guys at the famous Idaho Potato Bowl and secure a bid.
All right, that's Spartans insider and beat writer Jimmy Durkin. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks, Justin.
More on Spartan Football Weekly when we come back.
Did you know that Sarah Winchester had a crew of carpenters building 24 hours a day for 38 years? It's true. Her mansion grew to 160 rooms during continuous construction from 1884 to 1922. And she didn't have to worry about building permits. Come and see their beautiful but bizarre handiwork. Guided tours daily at the world-famous Winchester Mystery House, San Jose. Minutes away, ages apart.
Una más. Come on, baby. Una más.
Una más.
Una más. We taste better for lunch or dinner.
Welcome back to Spartan Football Weekly, now joined by San Jose State head coach Ron Carragher. And Coach, it's an unfortunate theme to have the last 3 games, just a frustrating blow taken to the team, triple overtime loss to Navy. But I thought the first 2 quarters of that football game, you guys did a nice job against their triple option. We're limiting them. What difference was it in the first half to the second half that they did?
Well, yeah, we kept it in check. It was manageable at that time. I think the difference between the first half and the second half is over the course of a game and an up tempo, the confusion can set in, the motions, the shifts, and they keep adding to it. So they make plays off of plays that we've stopped and so forth. And so as a defender, you have to stay so disciplined and honed in on your assignment. And anything out of that, you get pulled out of your area, coverage responsibility, or in our case, more particularly gap responsibility. And that's something I think that just got away from us a little bit in the second half. And thus you saw the big runs, particularly on the quarterback keeping the ball.
I want to fast forward to the last 3 minutes of the game, because there was a real big coaching decision your staff had to make in yourself to let them score with 2:38 remaining to give you enough time. What was the thought process going through?
Yeah, you remember there was a 4th down and 1, I believe, before that, and had we stopped them, it would have been we would have got the ball and we'd have been okay. But once they got that first down with just under 3 minutes, they basically could have run the clock down and kicked a field goal with 15, 20 seconds or so. And so it's just too hard at that point. So we figured our only chance, being down 1, is let them score, kick the field goal. They're up 8, and just come back, score a touchdown, and score 2 points. And that's never an automatic. That's a tough task too. But it was our only chance. And I've never been in a coaching situation where that's come up at the end of the game because it's pretty peculiar. But fortunately, we were able. They scored. They ran in and got the touchdown, and then we were able to come back and then touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
And you talk about the 2-minute drill a lot. You guys probably work on it. But to execute it so well in a crucial situation, just talk about that and what David was able to do.
Yes, every Thursday we'll work on the 2-minute drill, and I'll just come up with a different scenario. It could be the last 2 plays of the game with 30 seconds left, the ball's on the 50. It could be backed up on the 10 with 1:20 with 2 timeouts. Every week, just a different scenario, and this was a scenario with ample time on the clock to make the comeback difference. We didn't have any timeouts, so we had to be real smart with getting out of bounds when we could, and incomplete passes would help us occasionally. But we just did a nice job marching down the field, and And it was close at the end, but just barely enough time to get off that final play, the touchdown pass to Kyle.
Talk about Kyle Nunn's catch. He made a big catch there and a big catch in overtime.
Absolutely. David put it up as you need to as a quarterback, and the receiver's got to go get it. And Kyle's 6'4", and he reached back and was able to pull that ball in, secure it, come down with a foot in bounds, and hang on to it as the official watches to see if he has security, and came up with it. And there's a huge touchdown, a great boost for our team to come within two, and then the ensuing 2-point play. You know, hit Chandler Jones in the corner route was huge, and to tie things up, send it in overtime.
Well, when you go into overtime, and I want to go to the second overtime, was there a thought after you scored that touchdown to try and go for two? Because, you know, defense certainly hadn't been able to stop Keenan Reynolds, and so you probably have that decision. Do you want to let the offense try and win the game, or do you want to have the defense try and hold?
Yeah, that did go through my head, and it's a tough decision. I've been on the other side of, and I think that's taken the game into the coach's hands there. You know, we had been successful on, I think, 2 of our 3 2-point conversions, but usually that's about 30%. 2-point conversions are at the 30% range, and I just felt, I knew the next overtime series was going to go to, we had to go for 2. And I felt like we had an advantage over them with their limited passing game in the 2-point conversion. And I just felt that way. You know, hindsight, you look back, maybe, but
it's going to be that either way you go, too.
Yeah, and I look at it and I think, you know, we had ourselves 3rd and goal on inside the 5, on the 4 or the 3. So we had 2 shots to get the first touchdown, and when we had the turnover. So it definitely could have escalated and gone on. But yeah, it did go through my mind. It just wasn't powerful enough to say, hey, this is something we have to do, a no-brainer.
Well, one other thing I want to get your comment on, David Fales and Chandler Jones, they had some milestones in this game. David Fales, most touchdown passes in any Spartan in their history, most passing yards, and Chandler Jones, most receptions. Just talk about those two.
Oh, very impressive. And David's done it in 2 years, you know, which having been a junior college transfer, just got off to a fast start last year and has 2 very, very productive years with big numbers, you know, to come out. There's been some great quarterbacks, Mike Perez, over the years, so many good players, and Jeff Garcia, and to have that statistic is pretty impressive. Chandler Jones, here came to San Jose as a walk-on, just worked his way up, is so well respected, if not the most respected player on our team. Great attitude, always upbeat, positive, and makes plays and makes them in clutch moments. So Chandler Jones is just a special young man, and what a great accomplishment for him too, to have those all-time leading statistic numbers.
All right, we'll take a quick break with Coach Carragher. More on the show when we return.
Uno más.
Uno más.
Let's go. Uno más.
Uno más.
Una Mas. We taste better for lunch or dinner.
The Learfield Sports Directors Cup is the officially sanctioned annual award recognizing all-around excellence in men's and women's collegiate competition. NACDA and USA Today co-founded this esteemed honor in 1993, still widely recognized as the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Welcome back on the show. Still here with San Jose State head coach Ron Carragher as now you prepare for the big rivalry game. Fresno State coming into town this week. But first, it's senior day for San Jose State. 22 seniors. I know we can't talk about all of them, but just talk in general about the seniors on this team and what they've done for this squad and what it'll mean to them this Friday.
It would mean so much for them to finish their career in Spartan Stadium with a victory against a rival, against a team that's ranked as high and undefeated like Fresno. These guys have been through a lot. Some have been through three coaching head coaches in their career, maybe recruited by Coach Tomey and Coach Mack and then myself. And kind of interesting, back when during August, I let each one get up and have the podium and talk to their teammates and share their journey, what they've been through. And just some would get emotional and talk about it. And just to show the young guys too, it hasn't all been high. I mean, there are challenges and obstacles and hurdles we have to clear, but I'm so proud of these guys. They stayed the course. They fought through some tough, difficult times, and to finish out their career in the fashion that they have, and never quit, never give up, always compete. I'm proud of these guys. It's a group of 22 special young men, and excited to have the honor to have been a part of it.
Well, you got the rivalry game, it's senior night, you're trying to keep your bowl chances alive, it's a ranked opponent. Is there anything you need to pump these guys up for?
There's a lot there, and they know it. They hear it from me and national television, all those things. So many factors play in. But funny, opening kickoff, it'll all come in. It just hones right down to doing your job, playing your position as best you can so the unit can succeed and execute properly. So, but there's a lot at stake, and that's what makes college football fun and exciting. And I know our guys are excited, and an opportunity they're very much looking forward to.
Why don't you talk about Derek Carr, because he's really the core of their offense. Close to 4,000 yards passing, 39 touchdowns this year. Great numbers from him. What does he do that's so special that sets him apart?
He does a great job with his decision. He hasn't turned the ball over many times. I want to say 4 or 5 interceptions this year, and his ball placement is very good. He finds the weaknesses in various coverages, and he finds it quick, and he gets the ball there in a quick and accurate fashion. And so I think that's impressive. And then he's not just a immobile pocket passer. He'll tuck the ball and run and make plays with his feet when he has to. And so I think he just brings a lot. And you just see, we watch him play, and you see there's an experienced, savvy veteran when he plays the position. So a very good quarterback, Derek Carr.
And Devontae Adams, one of his top wide receivers, probably one of the top in FBS. Talk about him and how dynamic he can be, because he's their guy, but they also have a couple good guys behind him too.
They do, and Derek Carr spreads the ball across the field, but Devontae Adams is a special athlete. He'll go up and get it, whether they're throwing it in the end zone for him to get it, or they throw a flanker screen, and he'll make people miss and get the ball down the field. But he's definitely the top receiver, but they do have some really good depth at that wide receiver position.
And I think overlooked too is a nice compliment with their run game.
They do. They get you spread, and they're throwing it down the field, throwing verticals. Next thing you know, they run a draw or an inside zone, and when you have a 5-man box, as we call it, and their 5 linemen come off, and they got a hat for a hat, and next thing you know, he's up on the safety level. Safety's making tackles downfield, and so they do a good job mixing it up. The run game with the pass game. They also throw the bubble out to the receiver. They do a good job of using the entire width of the field and keeping everyone accountable.
Now, maybe one weakness that Fresno State has is their defense has given up some big points to some opponents this year. Is that something that San Jose State can try and exploit, and especially with the passing offense that Spartans
Well, and I think, part of that is the opponents. They've had a good schedule, and they're playing some good quarterbacks in the conference that are putting up some numbers. But there's opportunity there, their defense. But those guys do play hard. They've got some good athletes, and we just need to be on point and play really good, solid football and make our plays and execute when we got a chance.
Final question for you, Coach. Last 2 times Fresno State has come to Spartan Stadium as a ranked team, Spartans got the best of them. Is that something you tell your team this week?
I love it. Yeah, that's good. Absolutely. Good fuel right there. I'm going to use that.
All right, San Jose State head coach Ron Carragher. More on the show when we return.
Una más. Come on, baby. Una más.
Una más.
Una más. We taste better for lunch or dinner.
That's it for this week's episode. Again, San Jose State takes on the rival Fresno State Bulldogs this Friday at 12:30 with the kickoff. You can hear the pregame show on 1590 AM KLIV at noon. Thanks for letting us join you on Thanksgiving, but time for us to go eat. This is just delicious. Where's the gravy? Talking to the viewers about the gravy. You guys don't have no silverware? That's how we roll. Gosh, am I still on? Yeah. Oh. It's like I don't have any more chicken left.